Okay, welcome. I'm Mr. Matapuni Savannah. This is my YouTube channel. This is a series of videos, of tutorial videos for people who want to score high in TOEFL test. If this is the first time you're here, I invite you to subscribe. And if you find this material useful, give it a thumbs up so you can help us with the YouTube algorithm. If you've been here before, welcome back. And remember, share it with somebody who might, need these type of tutorials to get a better score in the TOEFL test. It's totally free. Okay, so we're still working with the structure section, and today we're going to work with skill number 10. Skill number 10 is use noun-clause connector subjects correctly. Now, in the previous video, we worked with skill number 9. We saw that noun-clause connectors were used to introduce noun-clause, noun-subject clauses, and noun-object clauses. Okay. In skill number 10, we'll see that in some cases, a noun-clause connector is not just a connector, but a noun-clause connector can also be the subject of the clause at the same time. So it's doing two jobs. In skill number 9 was just a connector. And we have also the subject, verb, everything in the noun clause. But in this case, the noun clause is going to do two jobs. It's going to be a connector. It's also going to be the subject. So take a look at the example here. It says, I do not know what is in box. Okay. So here the noun clause is the object of the verb know. We got I do not know this. I do not know this. What's that you know? I don't know what is in the box. Right. Within the noun clause, we have the connector, but it's also working as the subject of the verb is. Okay. Now, second, we are concerned about who will do the work, right? Who is a connector, but it's also working as the subject what the verb will do, and is the object of the preposition about. Right? Whoever is coming, right? Whoever is the connector, but it's also working as the subject what the verb is coming. Whoever is coming to the party, right? And the whole noun clause is the subject for the verb must bring a gift. Okay. So like I said, that's the difference between skill number 9 and skill number 10. Skill number 9, you got the connector, but it's just that, a connector. Skill number 10, it's a connector and is the subject of the verb. So in the first example, there are two clauses. I do not know and what's in box. These two clauses are joined with the connector what. It's important to understand that in this sentence, the word what serves two functions. It is both the subject of the verb is and the connector that joins two clauses, right? So we got what is a connector, but it's also the subject for the verb is. Okay, that's what we're saying. In the second example, the second sentence here, there are two clauses. In the first clause, we is the subject of the verb are. In the second clause, who, as we said, is doing two functions, is the subject of the verb will do. Who also serves as the connector that joins the clauses. So the noun clause who will do the word functions as the object of the preposition about. Simple, easy, no problem. In the last example, there are also two clauses. Whoever is the subject of the verb is coming. And the noun clause whoever is going to the body, the whole thing, is the subject of the verb must bring. Right? The word whoever serves two functions in the sentence. It is the subject of the verb is coming, but it's also the connector, the subject connector, that joins the two clauses. Whoever is coming to the party must bring a gift. Okay? So that's what we're saying. Now, here we have an example of how this sentence pattern could be tested in the structure section of the test. Example here we got was on television made me angry. So again, we got was, verb, made verb, right? The whole thing is the subject for the verb made, that's the noun clause. But here we're missing a connector and a sub, right? So in this example, you should notice immediately there are two verbs, was and made, and each of those is the subject. Answer say and be are incorrect because it in the story cannot be the subject for both was and made, so we'll eliminate that. Answer D is incorrect because when is not a subject. In answer C, what serves as both the subject of the verb was and the connector that joins the two clauses together. Right, so it's a subject connector, like what was on television made me angry. Right, so we got what as the connector, but it's also the subject for the verb was. Okay, so answer C is the best answer. Okay, here we got a little chart that lists the noun plus connector subjects in the sentence pattern. We got who, whoever, what, whatever, which, whichever. And again, I know what happened, right? Subject, verb, the noun, connected subject, what happened is the verb. And again, what happened, subject, was great. Right? That's what we got. Okay, so let's try to do these exercises. Each of the following sentences contains more than one clause. Underline the subject once and the verb twice. Circle the connectors and put boxes around the noun clauses. And then let's check if these are correct or incorrect. Look at the example. The game show contestant, subject, was able to respond to, here we have the noun clause. This is the connector. It was also the subject for the verb was asked. So it's fine. Subject, you should find out. This is the connector, the subject, but there's no verb. But there's no verb in this noun clause. So that's the problem here. We're missing a verb. Okay, so now it's the time for you to pause the activity, try to do the exercise, and then when you finish, come back and check your answers. Pause it now, and I'll see you when you come back. Okay, now that you're back, we got the employee was unhappy about what was added to his job description. All right, so we got the noun clause here. So this is fine. Whoever wants to take the dessert tour during the spring break, okay, so I mean, all of this is the subject, but there's no verb here. This is the connector subject for once. The whole noun clause is here, but there is no verb after that, so that's the problem. We're missing a verb. The motorist subject was were unable to discover who connector. He subject had struck verb his car. Okay. Now remember, we are working with the connectors that are doing two jobs. So the same connector has to be the subject and the connector at the same time, the noun clause. And here the problem is that we have an extra subject. He is an extra subject. So the motorist wasn't able to discover who had struck his car, right? So this we don't need it. The voters should elect whichever of the candidates, right, seems best to them. Right, so we got connector, subject, everything's fine. It, subject, was difficult to distinguish what was on sale and what was merely on display. Okay, so we got subject, verb, connector, subject, verb, connector, subject, verb. It's fine, right? because we have this conjunction here that puts together these two clauses, so it's fine. You should buy whatever, that's the connector. Okay, connector subject, but there is no verb. So this is incorrect because we're missing the verb. Whatever is the cheapest and most durable. What, my connector subject, was written verb in the letter anger. Anger him beyond belief, right? So the whole thing is a noun clause. And this noun clause is the subject for anger. You know, like this anger him beyond belief. What was written in the letter. Okay, so this noun clause is working at the subject for the verb anger. That's correct. Finally, you, subject, can spend verb your time with whoever, that is the connector, subject, but again, there is no verb. So that's why this is incorrect. I'm missing a verb right here. Okay. So if take a look at that, compare with what you did. And if you think that this was useful, please give it a thumbs up. That really helps the algorithm. Share it with somebody who might benefit from this. And I invite you to subscribe to the channel so we can keep growing and we can help more people. Okay. So thanks again and see you online.